as I was saying before, we were so rudely interrupted by our introduction. Oh, wait, hi, we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Stat Check, episode 24. This is the Christmas Bird, where we are joined by the one and only I of somebody. I am Innes. I am technically the host. I am joined by Anthony, Jeremy, and that guy, the Falcon, who you might have heard of from being the genesis of everything important in 40K. I'm sure he really appreciates us calling him that. But,
Yeah. Big fan.
Yeah, and Peter
Always
loves
have
it.
been.
Loves being complimented and being told how awesome he is. And
Yeah.
he handles it really well. It's great for his ego.
That's why I disappeared for like the last year, explicitly for that reason.
Yes.
Exactly.
Too many
How
compliments.
are all of you?
I'm doing pretty good. Things are going well. Coordinating my pre-LVO practice weekend, so that's always a bit of a process, trying to figure out like who's coming in, when they're coming in, like if they're coming in. So yeah, lots of fun. Juggling cats, I guess is the right way to put that. It's like herding cats, but worse.
I'm not flying in, buddy. I'm not risking it again. Sorry.
Yeah, you're safe this time.
What about you, Jeremy?
I'm getting ready for a couple RTTs, which are ostensibly going to be my LVO practice, and also working towards selecting the team for the WTC this year.
Ooh.
Fancy. And that's for Canada or some other country?
Yeah, for Canada.
Perfect. And Peter, how has your last year been in summary?
It's been a lot. It's been real busy. But the last 6 months have been amazing. Moved back to the Maritimes. Been kind of catching up on life and all of the pursuits of happiness. Driving a lot because I work an hour and a half away from where I live, which isn't the coolest. But other than that, living the dream. Currently prepping for LVO myself. I just started booking flights as I'm going to be commentating again this year for the FLGN team. Really looking forward to it. Doing a lot of little bitty researches and getting some things planned, trying to book restaurants in advance because I'm going all out this year. I'm going to get I'm fat now. I'm going to be so fat after LVO. Like I'm going to be fucking fat. Like
Hell yeah.
Well, the last
I'm gonna
LVO I
need to
remember
book a
you
second
submitting a
seat.
list for was when you submitted 3 squads of 10 neophytes of 550 points each. So
yeah, and BCP allowed it. They're like legal list, give her.
Perfect. Nailed it.
So glad to
Nailed
see you
it.
back in the commentary booth. It'll be good to see that there's going to be somebody competent at the, if not the helm, behind
Awesome,
the
good.
wheel.
Adam Camilleri
commenting.
knows dick all about 40K nowadays.
And you know loads, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're paying all the attention right now.
Weirdly, I am. Despite trying to back off of it, I can't. It hurts me. I just can't. People keep asking me questions, so I keep reading material. So
You keep getting tagged in every single Discord because you're in every Discord.
no, I left them all, man. Hard. I'm in yours because you guys forced me in, and like 2 others. Everything else, I was just like, I don't want to be here. All these people talk nonsense. Like
We did physically threaten Peter to join ours. It's true.
he really did. Well, it was more Cliff. He's the one I'm worried about. Of all of them.
Everybody should at all times. Cliff is at all times minimum, like at most 3 hours away from you. Cliff could be there. Like Cliff,
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. Like I have no worry about Innes because he's always drunk and he's across the ocean. Anthony's real small, but also very kind. So like even though I know he could probably kick my ass, there's a point where I would just fall on top of him and I think I have a chance. And then Jeremy, I've met Jeremy. Like I could take Jeremy in a second. Like because here's the thing, I cheat. If we get in a fight, guys, like be aware. I will do something real bad to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot you. Just being up front.
Yeah. It might be with a rubber
is
band.
invulnerable because Cliff acts through a network of American government shadow agents. And there's
Exactly. Also, Cliff is 100% custodian guard. Like, I've seen pictures. The man is a monster.
Yeah,
so,
he's a big boy.
Yeah.
Perfect. As for myself, apologies for not being here last week, guys. Was last week? Yeah, last week was when I was stuck in London. There was a whole. Go listen to the last episode. The guys did a terrible job of explaining it, but I was stuck in London.
All I know about that is that it was your fault and it was avoidable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. That's exactly what it is. But I played in a RTT this weekend, which is to say I played in the Scottish Masters, which was an invitational for the top 8 players in Scotland this year, which I managed to win because by drawing with Death Guard because I can't count scores properly. I actually did win, but whatever. Drew and won on points count back and then beat my next 2 games. It counts, baby. Almost lost to Grey Knights again on stream. Just doing regular Ennis things, and then roll Thousand Sons of Flamers because why wouldn't you? 40K is easy. If you only lose to the bad stuff, you never play that in later rounds. So
if you only lose to the bad stuff, you never play the good stuff.
I have now drawn Ennis a map of the airport. Yeah, man, that definitely would help. Sorry, I was almost on the phone, Cliff. I was almost on the phone to Tim, being like, Tim, could you just tell me what gate I'm at, please?
Yeah, how do I get out of here?
His power only extends to the US.
I'm sure I could convince him to try it. So yeah, that's been my last week. Obviously, I went to the States last weekend, where I managed to place 3rd with only a small loss to Grey Knights, blemishing my record by virtue of playing like an idiot and rolling too well.
Yeah, imagine rolling too well.
I know, it's horrifying, isn't it? That was a great time. I managed to go over and see Anthony, meet his missus, who's as wonderful as he makes her sound.
Can confirm.
Got to meet a bunch of people from the Discord, which was really good fun. I have a few of the terrible shirts you guys made that I've distributed one to Chris of. They are so bad. They are genuinely awful. I can't wait to see them in the wild occasionally now. I'm hoping everybody who's got one is at LVO, just so that we can get a group picture with Anthony in the middle, like that. I mean, with the woman and the 5 guys behind her. That's all I really want for Christmas. We'll see if we can find a black sofa for you to sit on at LVO.
I mean, that's what they cast off of, right? That's how that works.
Well, I mean, the Rio is only those kind of couches. It is like the shittiest hotel in Vegas. So,
yeah, perfect.
So yeah, that's good. Other than that, would technically be the bit where we move on to stats and me doing plugs and stuff like that. I'm not gonna do that this week. No, it's fine. We're gonna just do the bunch of questions that you guys asked us, and then we'll be taking questions from chat as well. Because we have a wonderful guest on with us who is only going to be with us very occasionally, and we should make the most of the opportunity to get you guys a chance to answer for his crimes of legitimizing 40K in so many ways and making us all have to think about it so much more, which is your fault, good sir.
Well, thank you. I'll take. I like it when it's a backhanded compliment. I'll take.
Yeah, it's your fault. We have to take this seriously now. It's basically
it's my fault. You guys have a podcast. I get it. Yeah,
exactly.
That's for shit. Sure.
Yeah, it is actually your fault that I'm here. So yeah.
Yeah.
So we are gonna jump through a pile of questions today, and then we'll take some more from chat. We're gonna run for about another hour and 20 minutes, and then we'll let people go. I think Cliff might be joining us at some point as well. We'll find out. He's just here to scare Falcon into answering questions instead of making jokey flippant answers.
I mean, I've openly said I didn't want to answer any of the ones I saw in that Discord. So
yeah, that's fine.
But I think I'm gonna have to anyway.
Yeah, you agreed to be here. That means that you have to suffer by our rules now. It's
I get it.
It's like when you get a fairy and they've sat down at the table and they've got to follow the rules. They can try and trick you, but they have to follow the rules that were set out. You have to answer the questions, Peter.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about one thing before we get into the questions, which is the main reason that Falcon is actually really interested in being here, which is, what do you think about the latest announcement? Pausing for effect.
Henry,
new show.
I literally, using the term in the worst way possible, squealed like the tiniest of school children when I saw what was happening. That night when the news release went out that he might be attached, there's a fellow I know that's in Hollywood that's like, don't worry, this isn't actually real. This is his girlfriend doing a thing to try to make something happen. And I was still like, it doesn't matter. There's a possibility of this being real. And then the next morning when GW confirmed it, and we're like, yeah, guess what? Henry Cavill is now going to be basically the lead and executive producer for a Warhammer TV series on Amazon. What? That is incredible. Fuck yes. I don't even care what it's about. It could be about anything. I don't give a shit. I will watch all of it. I won't even be mad. Fuck all of you people in whatever Twitters and Reddits and shit that are like, it's going to be bad, like Rings of Power or Wheel of Time. Fuck you. fuck you. Rings of Power was actually not bad. Yes, Wheel of Time sucked shit, but this is going to be amazing because it's Henry Cavill. He for a long time in my life, I said that I am a heterosexual man, but I would definitely do anything for Hugh Laurie. And then later on, as time has progressed and Hugh got older, not into the older guys, Henry Cavill has taken his place. And so now, 100%, I'm into this. I don't care. I want to be his love interest. I've asked online to see if someone can make it happen. I'll be anything to be on this show. I'll be a bird servitor because that fits. Just let me be that. I would be some weird peasant being flogged in the streets. I could be his Beckwin to his Eisenhorn, although I don't think he's going to do Eisenhorn. People are saying that. There's no way. He said in interviews he doesn't want to do Eisenhorn. He feels like someone else should be Eisenhorn. In which case, he should be my man Valerian. That's who he should be. If he was Valerian and they redid the Shadows of the Throne, Watchers of the Throne, I should say, I would be into it 100%. Do that. GW, listen to me. The man has read those books. Be that. The end.
Perfect. Now, having followed on from all of that, Peter, could you tell us a bit about who you are, just for anybody who doesn't know?
I'm a very excitable 40-ish-year-old man who really enjoys Warhammer and the people that play it. The reason why I get invited onto shows is because 5 years ago, I was alone in a airport tower listening to a podcast, and a certain Val Heffelfinger and Pablo Martinez were talking about how no one did statistics for Warhammer. And I was like, that's dumb. This game's super fun and people play it. Someone should do that. And so I started. And then no one would let me stop for years. And that was it. That's basically it. So I started tracking tournament data from around the world back in a time when it was almost impossible to do so because people were using whatever app they chose. Innis, for example, only used what felt like cave scratchings. I would get pictures of computer screens from him and his friends for Scottish events. There were events happening in the Midwest United States that were only on paper. I think Battle of Birmingham, when I got their first set of results, it was all on cue cards. It was here's 200 cue cards of the games we played here. So it was a different beast back then, but it was fun to be to actually get a grasp on what was happening in 40K, because as I got really invested in the competitive side of the game back then, it was very clear that nobody actually knew what was happening. You'd get occasional articles on Blood of Kittens or on Bell of Lost Souls that were here's the stuff that won X event. But you knew that way more events were happening, and people were just talking opinion based. There was nothing objective. It was all subjective out there. So I wanted to add some objectivity to everything that was going on at the time. And so I spent 4 years tracking statistics, and then I needed to take a break for mental health purposes. And here I am today. So
he got out. He did it. He completed it.
I got out. I complained for years about trying to find a way to get out. And it turned out I just had to leave. That was it. Yeah. I just had to one day be like, no, we're done.
Just had to cold turkey it. Couldn't Falcon anymore. Had to cold turkey.
Yeah.
And we're all very, very glad that you set the foundation of what you did, because the work you did, basically mainly in nerfing Iron Hands, that's all I really care about.
Yeah, that was fun. That was kind of the pièce de la résistance for me. It was A, butchering that term, and then B, actually helping with getting Iron Hands
sin-binned.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Felt good, man.
So yeah, for anybody who's around, Peter is the OG, the titan upon which all of us stand, and we're very glad that he is enjoying his semi-retirement, where he only comes out of his box to commentate LVO. Just the biggest event of the year.
Henry Cavill.
And about Henry Cavill, yeah.
I will talk about Henry Cavill all day.
Yeah, I think we're gonna try and avoid any more questions specifically related to Henry Cavill, just for runtime concerns.
Oh yeah, it'll get excessive. Like I want to talk more about it, but I did see that you had like 70 some odd questions you want me to answer. So
Well, not just you specifically. Some of them are for like us as well. We
yeah,
are
I get that. But McWhirp is in your Discord, so there's like 20 that are just for me.
Yeah, but we limit. We have a set hard McWhirp 3 questions a week limit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Curious got him down to 1.
Yeah, we'll give him an extra couple because
He can have 2 more because Peter's here. How many does Zane get?
I didn't see many Zane questions, which is good because his questions are always shitty. Like,
anyway, yeah. If you want to ask questions directly to us and all of our guests, check out the Patreon Discord thing. It's in the description.
yeah, sign up for these guys. They're super smart and good. Pay them money.
Exactly.
Hey, if you're watching right now and you're not paying these guys money, I don't like you.
Oh,
Actively.
That's
Yeah.
the best call to action we've got, I think.
yeah.
Actively, I hate you. And I don't hate very many people. Like my list right now is real small, so
It's
but
just
I'll
like
find out.
several billion people.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through the list of viewers later, and I'm just gonna be like, "Fuck, you're on my list."
DM them
Yeah.
individually.
Yeah, individually, each and every one, all 11 of them. And be like,
11. Wow, are we having a good week?
Well, that's just the amount of people watching that aren't also subbed. We try to keep the ratio pretty good.
yeah.
Okay.
You guys have been ratioed pretty hard.
Right. Let us start with some real questions. What happens if we go back to more starting CP, and how does starting CP affect the health of the game as you see it? This is
Man, I
from
fucking
Fritz.
wish they would do that, but I'm real biased as a CSM boy.
Yeah, I would like more starting CP as a Tyranitar player. That'd be real nice. I probably don't need it, but I would like it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad we never got to see 12 starting CP Chaos Space Marines.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that is probably best for the health of the game.
We didn't do anything to anyone. It's been fine.
Yeah, because you start at like 2 CP every game.
2?
Usually
It's
not
one
like
or
one.
zero.
In Emperor's Children.
Listen, my Creations of Bile list was starting at 0 for a while until I got into a couple missions where I was like, oh, I really need at least one.
You recover the relic. The first time you go second on recover the relics with a 0
Yep,
starting CP,
exactly.
you're just like,
Exactly.
I don't understand why I play this
What are
game.
you doing with CP and Bile? Rerolling advances? Like, what the fuck? You don't use it on anything in the army.
I just want one reroll. That's all I want. Like, I just wanted to have one in pocket.
That's fair.
Yeah, starting TP generally, I think the lower starting TP is, the more it heavily favors just having good data sheets and doing things on turn 1 with them. When you have more CP, you generally get to do more defensive tools. Like compounding offensive stratagems isn't as big a deal nowadays, I don't think. Whereas having access to defensive stratagems on early turns is much more important.
Yeah.
That's not the world we live in, though. So, and then obviously detachments are a weird and additional thing with that. It limits list flexibility a fair amount when you're much more heavily restricted on detachments.
Yeah.
We see a lot more troops nowadays, but that's not always a good thing. That often means lists have to play garbage units, which is not something you should be encouraging as the games designer, I don't think.
Yay, shitty stuff. Woo.
Exactly. Here's your shitty breakfast cereal. Go and eat this, and then you can have fun. Is not
Anthony
really
says as he tries to shove as many noise marine squads in an army as
Noise
he can.
Marines aren't troops. Like that's a
They're
lie. Big
troops.
Emperor's Children teaches
They're
you.
in the troop slot and everything. Look at them. They're right there.
They're in the troops all for every attack for every army that takes them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I have a real question this week, or at least a conversation starter. This is from Tim Pitty. Can the host and guest please expand a bit on personal theories for the differences between the CRS generated faction ratings and the most recent meta report? I'm going to open the image and try and stream this. So let's see if this works horribly.
Oh, this will be good.
Don't. It's going to be fine.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, he did it without breaking anything. Look
Hell
at
yeah. Okay, so this is a representation. On the right, we have the most recent meta report, which is the monthly thing that I make with the help of the wonderful guys here, where we see like each faction ranked based on our voting and also things like win rate, overrepresentation, and event wins. And then we have the CRS score for each faction on the left here, which is the weighted ELO result for each faction based on how well they've been doing in recent events. And so why are these different? Is a fairly interesting question, I suppose. So we'll see, for example, here, Chaos Demons are in third and in second here, so that's fairly similar. Harlequin is the same, second in CRS, first in the meta report. But then we have something like Sororitas, which is fourth and seventh, or Gene Circles, which is 8th and 9th. And then we get into some of the more interesting ones as we go down, like Tau in 15th in CRS, but we have them in 5th as our overall as players. So why do we think we see some differences here? I'll do mine last because it's my thing. So
yeah, I think the biggest part is, I mean, I'll address the easy part of it. We don't rank super factions in the meta report. But they do show up in the CRS because there are factions that people are playing under. But I think the other thing is that while the CRS is based on raw, it's just win rates into each other. It doesn't factor in things like overrep and event wins. And it's one of these things where we've talked about in the past. Win rates are not all that they're cracked up to be. You don't just need to look at win rates. You need to look at how a faction's doing overall.
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Now, obviously, if you look at the first couple, Harlequins and Demons are first and second for almost everything. But then you look at leagues, they're second for win rate, but they're 8th for overrep and 7th for event wins. So high win rate, not as high of a conversion into top 4s and event wins. So you look at an army like that, and you know that they're hitting a wall somewhere. And if you look at the rank of VO10, they're sitting at 7th in the CRS. It's probably because they're running into a hard wall against things like Flamers, T-Suns with Flamers, Demons as a whole, and just not enjoying life.
Yeah, so they're playing the same army 3 times, is what you just said. They have a real problem with the Flamer data sheet, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, and they're also getting lifted up by contributor voting here, being first in that, I assume, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we contributor voting is 40% of the weighting here, and we broadly thought that they are the best army in the game right now. Whether that will hold true going forward entirely remains to be seen, but we all still think that, I think. Although I haven't played against them now a little bit more. I'm more on the I
mean, it sucks for leagues of O10 players that so many of them have decided that Kronos Hegemony actually is a faction they should be trying to use.
Yeah, they should stop doing that.
If you guys could stop. I know that you're in really shitty, tiny areas that only have the exact same 28 players playing at your GTs, but just play any of the other ones, please.
Yeah. Come to the light that is the Ymir conglomerate.
Yeah, please.
Or maybe even the Greater Thurian League.
Ugh, gross.
No, guys, just play Urani Sartor. It'll be fine. You can get toughness 7 berserkers.
Toughness 7 berserkers.
Live your dream, but really bad.
It's not good, but it is funny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's 90% of what you're looking for. Anthony doesn't have thoughts on this. What are you on about?
Yeah, math. Ugh, gross. Pain. Suffering. Demon.
Yeah, so I'll close out on this one. My broad thoughts is that the CRS represents sort of the average of the meta very well, whereas what we're trying to capture in the meta report is the top end of the meta, so what the very, very best. So we're trying to look at the players who are in the top 10 in contention for winning any GT they go to. What is the meta going to look like for them? Whereas the CRS captures much more holistically what the sort of mid-tables look like, where a 60% win rate by going 3 and 2 is really good. Whereas a 60% win rate by going one player going 5 and 0 and 3 players go and a couple players going 2 and 3 looks very different in terms of results for getting into the meta report, where that pulls out better on event wins and overrepresentation. And then also our contributor voting, we're also looking forward. We're trying to think about what these things are relative to the meta as a whole right now. So we might see that, for example, Harlequins do really well in both sets, but what was the one I used as example? Tau do on aggregate pretty bad, but Tau are pretty good into some of the meta stuff right now, which means at the very top end, Tau overperform on where their weighted faction average is because the best players are doing great things with them, which just means that we single them out as being something with a higher upside than what their ranking representation is. I think that'll do it for that, as long as that makes sense. I'm not talking crap, but that's fine. Either way, let's go back to our beautiful faces, mostly Peter's, who is unfrozen again, which is always nice. Alex says, just let Peter know that we miss him and we hope he's okay.
I'm I did crash my car twice yesterday trying to get home in time to watch Avatar so that I could be on Grim After Dark. But I'm fine.
30-second Avatar review? 30-second Avatar view?
Yeah. I had to go see Avatar 2 to talk about it on Grim After Dark. So I showed up 20 minutes late because I crashed my car twice into snowbanks. But I got there.
I do know Enes's accent can sometimes be hard to understand, but he's asking for a 30-second Avatar review.
A 30-second. Oh shit! And his
Or like 5 second. I don't care. Words about Avatar.
It's good.
Thank you.
It's better. It's better than I thought. The fight scenes are incredible at the end. The cinematography is amazing. I really enjoyed how they take it from the point of view of like the children, so everything is cool and new. The whale hunting scene, it takes way too long.
Nailed it.
Top 3 armies at LVO and top 3 players from Nick.
Tau, Votan, Nids, Vic, Ennis, Lennon.
I guess that's me.
Probably. All right.
Fire.
Tau, I'm going to Chaos and Votan, since we know there's no guard. Or we hope that there's no guard, because
I'm with Jeremy. That would be my go-to. I mean,
Players.
Nids is a fine fourth. But.
right, players. I'm going to have to say Vic. Found out Manny's not going to be there, so I don't have to talk about him. Lennon, Brian, Seep.
No chance.
The
No chance.
sleeper.
No way. What is this? Get out of here. That's garbage.
Put
Garbage.
Orcs in his top 3. Fuck yeah.
Like Vic and Lennon are always going to be options. Is Gaylord coming?
Yes.
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 Yes, that would be my 3.
I'll go Vic, Soli, and
Fuck, I forgot Soli.
Vic, VJ, Matt
Oh,
Morrisoli,
I also
and
forgot
some
Soli.
random Italian player we've never heard of.
Like my
Okay.
favorite thing about Matt Morrisoli is outside of Australia, people tend to forget he exists. And
We
then he
didn't
shows
draft
up
him
and-
last year when he was in the LVO draft. Turned out he wasn't going anyway, but he was definitely on the roster.
Yeah, I just forgot he was signed up.
The 2019 LVO when he brought like old school demons plus Thousand Suns, and everyone like thought it was a garbage idea. And he destroyed everybody until he got to Steve Pamprine and forgot what Assault Centurions looked like. Like, oh my God, I was rooting for him so hard. And then he gets into the round before the shadow round with that list, and he goes into Pamprine, and the way he deployed Pamprine's like, well, I guess I just win. And Matt was like, "Hey, what are you talking about? Like those dev cents can't do anything to me." And,
Oh,
and
no.
Pamprine is like, "These are assault cents." And he was like, "Fuck." And he just like wiped him turn 1. So yeah,
Oh,
he deployed
no.
thinking that Steve had put out some dev sense into a ruin, and they were assault sense, and they just jumped him and murdered his face. But still, like, he's such a good player. Oh God. Anyway,
Yeah, and obviously, like we're all going to put ourselves in like the top 4, right? So I'm not even. Gonna
me,
mention it.
I'm definitely going to be
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least in
we
the shadow
know.
round.
But like, obviously, I want Anthony me in the final. That's all that I would. That's all I'm really asking for.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'll just
drag
be
my
happy with a
Emperor's
solid
children.
5-1. So you guys can just
I mean,
have
I can
it.
make
Look, man,
stuff happen.
as long as I dodge Grey Knights, I think I'll be okay.
I'll just drag my Emperor's children through this Tau, Votan, Thousand Suns meta, and just
Yeah, it's.
place them.
Oh, yeah, top 3 armies. Fuck all of those. Orcs, Tyranids, and Chaos Demons. It's going to be fine. Don't worry about shooting. It's not real. Player place terrain. People tell me player place terrain is great for stopping shooting armies. They must be right?
It's better than what garbage you guys use, but it's not great.
Shh, look, man, I'm making a joke and a point. Stop.
Yeah.
Okay, Peter, is the Falcon your favorite bird, or alternatively, what's the origin of the name? I think you've told this story like a million times now, right?
I've told the story a million times. Falcon is my favorite bird, but that's not where it came from. God, like 12 years ago now, 13 years ago, I was in a bar with a bunch of friends after a really awesome Warhammer night playing. There's probably 16 of us all getting together, shooting the shit. And I said at one point, someone had said that nobody can make their own nickname. And I said, that was bullshit. I bet 100% I could make my own nickname. And I'm going to start calling myself the Falcon. And I changed my name to the Falcon. I put Falcon as my middle name in Facebook. And then it wouldn't let me change it back because I changed my name too many times. And so I just left it there. And then, and nobody called me the Falcon here. But 6 years later, I'm sitting talking to Pablo Martinez on Chapter Tactics, and he called it out, and he was like, "That's a weird middle name, Falcon." And it just kind of stuck, and then everybody started calling me Falcon. And then now
so
people
you won
bird
that
call
bet
me in
6 years
public.
later.
Yeah.
People bird call you. Yeah, that's not great.
Easy.
It's better than what would happen to Anthony if people started manifesting his nickname in public, though. So
Please, no more. There's so many.
people are just gonna start trying to fight you in public. I really hope that's what happens.
I
Like, it
hope
seems like
not
it would go
for their
really
sake.
badly for them, but
Yeah.
but like I am giving you not permission, but I'm recommending you try if you see Anthony at a tournament.
Don't do it, people. Hospitals in
Yeah,
America are
the trick,
expensive.
guys, catch him off guard. Hit him with a chair when he's not looking, and then
Yeah.
go for it. That's
Then you
your
have a
option.
chance.
Okay. What is
Please don't hit
the
Anthony
most
with a chair.
efficient drink? There's a bunch of questions about Henry Cavill, but Sam asks, in this for the show, will you remind everyone to please comment on all the stat check videos? And you know what, Sam? No.
I'll do it. You guys better comment on these videos. You better like. You better fucking subscribe. You better join their Patreon because they're good people. And if you don't, I'm coming. I'm going to take down a list of all of the people that don't, and I'm going to call you out at LVO and shame you
check it
openly.
twice.
One by
Yeah.
one.
One by one.
That's
gonna be the
if
show
you don't
opener.
subscribe to us, you will pair an Art of War member round one.
I have that kind of power.
Yeah, don't doubt Peter. He can do it.
And you'll end up with the Necron tables every
He'll
game.
make Val think it's his
Oh,
fault.
no, not the
idea.
Necron tables. No one wishes
Listen,
that
they're
upon
going to
even
only
the
have
worst
like 5
enemy.
of them, and all 10 people that are dickheads to you guys, they're going to be on those tables
all 10 people stuck on the Necron table all event.
all nine games.
You'll get to play Nick on the round before he's drunk and YOLOing his army. Okay. What is the most efficient drink for enjoying your family for long periods of time? I found vodka to be very efficient.
Whatever shit the polls gave us, plus apple juice.
I mean, usually a nice potato vodka does a good job.
I drink whatever my girlfriend gives me these days. Like, I'm just like, that sounds good. Hook me up.
Yep,
That's fair. That's basically what Anthony was doing with the Polish stuff as well.
that's true. Typhus, my Polish girlfriend.
I believe it. He's a handsome man.
He's beautiful. Yeah.
He's gorgeous.
After the debacle of the new guard decks being allowed at some events and not others, going forward, should GW and other organizations like ITC take a firmer stance on what/when armies are tournament legal to determine if an event qualifies for rankings points?
Yes, GW
It
should
would be great
100%
if they
do that.
took a stance ever at all.
GW should take stances, period.
And be public about those stances, not just
The end.
back alley threaten with knives and paper.
If they could stop threatening with knives, that would be big. And
Slightly
legal
less
stuff.
knives.
Yeah.
Personally, not a huge fan of a knife.
No. And legal stuff.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Adam, you are very correct. This is StatCheck Live Chat, where other podcasts come to feel like the audience.
Sure.
It is wonderful how many people we have here who are also awesome content creators, and we're glad that we can be part of all of your days.
I think
Somehow.
everyone that plays 40K now is a content creator.
Yeah, it's impossible not to be at this point because people just like you get to a point where if you're good at 40K, people just ask you questions incessantly. It's easier to make a video you can link them one time.
It's also good for the advanced knowledge ahead of the curve stuff that no one talks about and we all pretend is okay in the setting.
What advanced knowledge?
Right.
Exactly.
No, like seriously, you guys are getting advanced knowledge.
I know. I wish.
And the new GT pack is incredible.
Stop that.
Peter, you can't get me in trouble, but you're gonna get them in trouble.
They didn't tell
You can't
me.
get me in trouble.
There's this beautiful thing where people just still tell me stuff, right? So
Yeah, it's so weird, isn't it?
Peter's got no
Having-
idea.
You
They can't
getting
touch
out of
him.
the ecosystem and then people being like, yo, you used to be in this ecosystem, therefore we can tell you things. Is
yeah, I
bizarre.
just get like people tell me, and then they're like, "You're under NDA," and I'm like, "Oh yeah,
Totally.
100%, totally, and under no NDAs."
He's got an NDA for work. He's like, I have an NDA.
I do have an NDA for work, I guess. So
Yeah.
back in like 2020, when I was telling everybody squats were coming, that felt
That's
real
true.
good.
Very powerful.
Vindicated.
Just wait for the new
Technically,
units
squats did
next
come to
edition.
Necromunda.
Please tell me there's a beam plane. That's all I'm asking for.
I don't think there's a
Votan beam plane.
I don't remember a beam. Well, I don't know what they have for weapons. I just know the models. So
No. No beam plane.
It'll double
They should give
pivot.
the beam plane to the Sun Shark. They should just replace ion weapons with beam weapons. Just make them beam type.
Ooh.
it fits. It's
No.
lore adjacent.
No.
Yeah, they just decided to upgrade the technology a little bit.
It's when the Riptides
Oh.
get beam next edition. That's when it's gonna be bad.
Anyway, yes, we should take a step from our tournaments. Codex is banned until FAQ comes out. I would definitely be down for
I'm
that.
fine with that. I
Yeah.
think that's
For like
and that's-
GT play, like RTT play, do whatever the fuck you want. I really couldn't care less. But GT
Sure.
play, I think you should probably have to. I'm down with you. Have to have a balanced data slate before your book is legal for GTs. But whatever.
Oh, that's
They
so
need to
long.
stop releasing the fucking book like 6 months before the actual like inside like limited edition shit. Just stop.
yeah, that part just
That's
needs to
it.
stop.
They'll probably
Like
not
release,
stop doing
do
that
your
unless
limited
they
edition
stop
bullshit, and then also with the book as like at least at the same time because we know the book exists.
buying.
And
Vic says Votan Indirect Beam playing would send me straight to the Lord of the Rings tabletop game.
Yo, me
Yeah.
too. I actually want to try that game.
Yeah,
Vic,
I
talk to
would
me
just
about the
well-written game.
full jump to Legion at that point.
Vic, talk to me
Like,
about
I'm
the Lord
already
of the Rings
close.
game.
I'm already a professional snap player, so
That's pretty good.
Okay, Peter, this one is specifically for you, but it's gonna suck our ego and also make us sad. What does StatCheck do that you? What things does StatCheck do that you didn't that you think are interesting? That's like 4 negatives in that question. What do we do that you think's cool, and what do you think we could improve?
well, the things that you guys do that I never did. Well, that's not true. I did do a ELO. I just didn't publish it publicly because people kept threatening me with like GDPR bullshit. But I love CRS. I love how you do your meta thing, except for the objectivity or the subjectivity part where you add at least some weighting based on how you feel things are. Because that's me as like the little data analyst inside of me always gets fuzzy about trying to putting any kind of subjectivity in anything. It was always a problem for me when I did the stats. I could go on a long tangent about that. The one thing I would love for you guys to start doing in the new year, and you should, is now that you have an established CRS or ELO rating for players, you should start rating events.
Ooh.
So that's actually something that has already been discussed internally, and I realize I haven't told these guys about that.
Oh, good.
Nice. Thumbs up. Sick.
So it's something that we've talked about doing for. So I've been in talks with Fred from the German tournament circuit and former captain of Team Germany, if I remember correctly.
Fred Oho?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can never remember if it's Oho or Otto because I know him by both
Oh,
in
yeah.
VCP.
Otto, sorry.
Either way, he's actually been talking to me about when they do their big tournaments, coming up with a average ranking for the tournament in terms of the CRS and the faction ranking. So that's something that I was going to actually do for LVO. I just didn't want to bring it up until now, but since you've suggested it, I may as well say that I may as well really reveal that I'm going
Actually,
to do it.
LVOs will be in the toilet, but like round 4 will look like a really competitive GT once you just cut out the first 3 rounds.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, basically, going to look at average, top 10%, and where we all sit, like what the distribution looks like. Because it's going to be crazy. Because some of them, it's going to be their first event of the year, and some of them, it's going to be their 16th event of the year.
Luke says retrodate the average ranking from that Mythicos GT. Hell yeah.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. That one
That
was
was rough.
Because I think so we're at a point now, it's been that way for probably a year now, where we have so many events running, and we've always known that events aren't created equally.
Yeah,
right?
some events have softer metas.
Some are in America and some aren't. Yeah,
exactly. Well, that helps because it's spread out meta. And I mean, it's a dangerous topic for some people because they'll get really upset that my meta is shitty. And I know it used to be my running joke whenever I wanted to get somebody mad was I would make a backhanded comment about their meta because everybody, especially in the States, are so
Sensitive.
so into where their area and how competitive it is. And so I used to do it as a joke, but like.
But like ironically, Texas, your meta sucks.
But like we're at a point now where like I think we should, because we're going to come into a competitive circuit soon enough. That's like bigger than the ITC, and we have so many events. Like I think having a rated event will better focus down like what's actually working out there, because you're not going to get that skew from like that tiny event that had, or that 30-person event that had Custodes win. So
region ELO rankings.
Ooh.
I mean, I was going to go there next and talk about like, because I used to geolocate everything in my personal spreadsheets for that reason. That was another thing I never published because I figured it would get people upset.
It does. It's great. We get so many emails about it.
But yeah, like geolocation, but more importantly, just getting to that point where we actually rate events so we can weight them in some way.
We
Will
can
help.
finally see which ones we can just ignore, which has become all of them. It's been so much better than when we were on Fight Club. We talked about every event. Now we just ignore all of them. It's great.
Yeah,
When we
we
did
skim
Stat
over
Center,
them
we
real
just ignored
quickly.
any event that was won by Iron Hands for like probably 6 months.
Oh yeah, you had to.
Yeah.
That was wise.
Yeah, that's why LVO 2019 never happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, let's move on. Oh, God, no, Logan, I'm not asking that question. I'm sorry.
No, ask
but
it. What's Logan asking? Oh, is it politically charged?
Okay. What does Falcon think about a balance system that still
Oh.
uses physical media with a 6-month lead time for production when balance slates have reached in between in and out and proven to be entirely ineffective to the meta when you consider actual data points of actual performance? Asking for a friend who definitely knows nothing about the next GT pack. Thanks.
Yes.
So
I
I
mean,
didn't ask that question. Don't answer that.
Okay.
Logan, bad. Bad, Logan. Don't ask leading questions. We all know it's a bad format. Why are you trying
my
to do
guy,
that?
my guy, he's a Fight Club commentator, right? Like he talks about Street Fighter all the time. All he can do is ask leading questions. Like he's got nothing else.
Okay. We have 3 methods for rebalancing the game currently. Brandon, this is your last question, by the way. Data slate, points, and GTA pack. At what intervals do you think these should change to best balance the game? Is the current system the best? This is so many questions. Or we're changing points more often and slate less on be better? Are 6-month GT seasons good, or should it be 12?
I think the data slate probably could be monthly or every other month without it exploding everything. Mission pack, I would like to change. I think 6 months is fine because it really drives me fucking nuts when we're just constantly chasing whatever just exploded the game. That's like my least favorite meta state is who can find the thing that GW didn't catch. That shit makes me super sad. So 6 months on that's probably fine. What was the other points? They should just be okay with changing points in the data slate, and that should go every other month. And I think that's my ideal.
I'm broadly okay with quarterly. I just think they should be higher impact when they do them quarterly. I think quarterly is fine.
I think that they also acknowledge that they missed the mark considerably with the last one, whereas the previous ones were a little bit more impactful. The fine-tooth approach doesn't always work when there are things that are significantly out of whack.
I just hate how we've kind of gone from like big one, small one, big one, small one. I would just like medium, 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 medium all the way through. Hit the top and the bottom significantly on both ends, and then it's changing in 3 months again. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, provided that they actually commit to that and respond.
Exactly.
That's everything. I was a big proponent for quarterly balanced data slates before it even happened, so I was very excited when it came out. I think I talked about it on multiple podcasts. Like, this is what we should be doing. The 6 months for GT pack is perfectly fine. I find once you get to that 6th month, that's when you're kind of getting bored of it. That 5th to 6th month, if you play a lot.
I mean, we've been playing the same missions since like 2020 now, right? So
yeah.
Some actual changes to the missions would be nice.
That would be
any
big.
point.
If the GT pack actually changed missions, it would be super cool, and to a significant degree.
We'll just start playing the incursion missions. How bad can they be?
And then
don't answer that; they're real bad.
But balanced data slates for me, it's like they need to be more impactful. And it was cool when they said that they used win rates, but like they need to catch up. We've been talking about more than win rates for 5
stats
years.
Down now.
Yeah.
So just use more. You can definitely go more in depth than win rates.
They have the
if you're
data.
Only looking at win rates. Yeah, we've had the data for 4.5 years, and we know what works, and like it's getting better every day. So just call on the right people to get it done. So anyway, that's it. And points should be whenever the fuck they want. They should just be able to
monthly point changes. Like I would be so now just monthly, just have the edges off of everything. It'd be fine.
Yeah, like emergencies, whatever. Like that should be what points are for. Like, oh yeah, we fucked up flamers. Sorry, they're 10 more points now. Let's move.
Yep.
So,
how do you balance a game so money and time intensive between those who play competitively, e.g., attending multiple GT plus events per year, and those who only attend smaller GTs and RTTs?
Honestly, I
balance it
think-
for everybody. Like, it's
Yeah,
fine. Balance for the mid tables. The top tables kind of matter. Like, egregious stuff there you got to hit, but balance so that everybody's having fun, and then you'll catch everybody.
I think that question is also leading into the frequency of the updates, because there
Right.
are a small yet vocal minority who complain about too many changes.
Mhm.
But the reality is that most of the people that I talk to and most of the people that play the game would much rather the game be updated regularly and be balanced rather than them just being locked to the same rules.
And
For
there's a secret
what's
on
my
that.
codex
If there's
every
too
6
many,
months.
if there's too many changes, you can just play the codex as it's written. Like, if you're playing in your garage, just like go and read the Blunderdome articles recently and see what that's
Yes.
like.
Do
But
that.
you can
Yeah,
do
it's a
it.
fucking
Like,
hellscape.
So bad.
It's
but
a game.
if you're down with rule zeroing with your opponent, like having that pre-game discussion, be like, this is the kind of power level I'm aiming for. You can ignore everything that is printed on the GW website and just put your codexes.
I mean,
Like, if
people
you're
still
willing to
play
have that
Legacy
discussion,
and
it's
Magic,
fine.
so
True.
Exactly. People play Commander competitively for some reason. Like, it's fine. And it's with the trick answer. No one has fun playing Warhammer. You're goddamn right, Mr. 1 and 2 with Votan.
Ooh. Mistakes were made. Did you beam yourself? Like, what the fuck?
Votan. No, he lost to 1,000 Sons of Flamers and then Grey Knights.
Oh,
Apparently, the Librarian almost one-shot a Fortress, but he failed Smite.
You two are so good at losing to Grey Knights.
Brian did 14.
Must be a Scottish
Brian's
thing.
Fortress took 14 damage from Purifying Flame and Vortex.
Nice.
That's fucked.
You heard it here first, folks. If you're in the bracket that's likely to play Team Scotland at WTC, make sure you've got Grey Knights. Apparently, they've got no fucking answer.
We don't know what to do. Nobody
We've
plays
never
them.
seen them before.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do if they don't have 5 Dread Knights. Like, that's the only thing I'd played against from that codex before was 4 and or 5 Dread Knights. So, like,
I seem to
somebody
remember
deployed
Innes losing the
Purifiers, and I was
finals
like,
on stream to Grey
I don't
Knights because
know.
he didn't know what Grey Knights did.
No, that was with Grey Knights.
Were you playing Grey Knights?
Yeah, against Mike Porter's Iron Hands.
Oh, that's right. You forgot
Yeah,
what Iron
yeah.
Hands did.
Grey Knights, my Achilles heel. It's very, very obvious. Okay, if you could change one thing in the game right now, what would it be, and why does it annoy Innes so much? Why would you do that, Chris?
That's an easy one. I would make it so that Tyrant Guard don't bodyguard Flyrants.
Fine. Can I have anything resembling a compensation buff to the rest
No.
of my codex? Because everything else sucks.
Nope. That's what you get.
Oh, okay.
Do you have the same NIDS codex everybody else does?
Yeah, man, the one that's winning GTs without Hive Tyrants, right? Loads of them everywhere.
You can still use obscuring, bro. It doesn't have to get crazy.
Fuck off! Have you seen the size of a Hive Tyrant? The thing is doing jazz hands on the surface of the sun with a backlight.
Just use the train keywords, bro. It's not my fault you can't read.
It'd be helpful if obscuring ruins are actually obscuring.
Yeah, could you imagine?
No, I play on UKTC boards. What's the obscuring keyword?
Well, it has the keyword.
You're right, Anthony. What would you change?
I'd probably, if I can only make one change.
One change.
Remove the portion of void armor that turns off wound rolls.
Get out of here. Fuck you. No.
I'm with you. I would like the Votan
Fuck
Codex
yous.
was also a viable
Yeah,
choice.
but that doesn't annoy him.
Oh, I have to annoy Innes?
Well, the question did say, what would it be and why would it annoy Innes so much?
It doesn't have to annoy me.
Oh, in that scenario, the GSC have to follow normal deep strike rules for all applications of deep striking.
Hell yes, I'm so there for that because our codex would be so trash I might get real buffs, and that wouldn't even affect neophytes. So, like neophytes would be like, yeah, man, I guess, cool.
Yeah.
Do I have to annoy myself? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Eldar probably could do with something resembling a secondary buff. I don't know. It pains me to
dangerous.
say it.
They're
but,
so good at the generic ones. Do they really need that?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Their Psyker one is weirdly hard for being an Eldar. For being Eldar.
Hmm.
I don't even
I don't know.
how
This
it
is
works.
hurting. Like, I'm gonna be honest. If I get to make a real change, I would move the objectives and recover the relics that are outside your deployment zone 1 inch to the side, so they're in your deployment zone. That's it. Just a little nudge. Even only one of them. Push the other one like 2 inches out the way.
Oh, setting that up would be a nightmare.
I don't care, to be honest. If it's a real change, I would remove things that remove face caps. Those probably just shouldn't exist. If it's face capped, just let it be face capped.
Or just remove face caps.
That would.
I actually quite like face caps as a design.
Yeah,
metric.
I'm okay with face
Oh,
caps.
I know
I
exactly
don't think
what
they
you
should be on anything you should be lookouts, Sard. But other than that,
I think that's fine too. Like, I think if you can, because like I don't mind that those things are hard to kill, right? Like those things shouldn't be just like boop, you're dead. And that's their only real way to do that now. Like offense is so high that when stuff get hit, stuff die. And that's not broadly an issue, but there are certain things that shouldn't just like see ya.
oh, can I do -2 strength and 2 AP from every weapon in the game?
No.
I'm on board for that.
Like just everything. -2 strength, -2
every
AP.
single weapon.
And
Every
+1
weapon.
to all cast requirements.
All seems
What do you guys want
sketch.
to like?
Poor
What
fucking Grey Knights. But
what is your platonic ideal of a game where you just like do actions at each other until the
no,
game's
we're
over?
like it takes.
Okay,
an
this isn't
army
Art
of,
of
like-
War.
I'm
Yeah.
like, if you want to kill like 400 points of an army, it should take about an army to kill 400 points of an army. Is my
Why?
general feeling. So that the game takes 5 turns most of the time.
But you could just not get shot by an entire army
But
instead.
do you know what would be cool is if you could stand in the open and not immediately evaporate in 40k without playing exactly Terminators.
Why?
Because it's more interesting when you have more movement options besides hide behind wall like coward.
Yeah, hide. Don't die. It's the
Easy
41st
just-
millennium, bro. It's dangerous.
I
out
miss
there.
7th, bro. We played on like 4 bits of terrain and everything lived the entire game. It was great.
That
It was
sounds
fine.
shit. Oh, that's garbage.
I don't
I miss
care.
like having multiple ballistic skill modifiers. Like that should just be back. Like
They
it
could
shouldn't
do
just be
that. I'm all for that.
+1/-1.
Oh yeah,
Go
Space
create it.
Marine, the Space Marine's ballistic skill should be base 4+. Like Space Marine should hit on 4s, and then it should get better. Where like we don't use 6s to hit like at all. So
Yeah, we should
It just doesn't
definitely
really
as many
exist.
mods as you want to stack.
Do it. Live your
Yeah.
best life.
Don't
I
put
think the game is better when more stuff is alive on turn 5. Because you get more options for more of the game, which results in more play skill being important.
yeah, if you want more stuff to be alive on 5, don't get it killed before then. Easy.
You sure you're on Art of War, Anthony?
Yeah. Just hide, bro. It's fine.
That's what they do. Hide and do actions.
Yeah, stand over there.
Take to the last if it's available. Not anymore though.
Yeah.
Play
Bang.
book mission, play Ramrat mission so you can run while we stand we fight.
Perfect. Go for it.
Okay, Jeremy or Curie? It says Jeremy right there, bro.
I
He's
like
stuck
Jerry.
with Curie, but his name is Jeremy.
Yeah, I respond to
very
either equally.
much used both interchangeably when I was in the States.
I can't not call him Curie.
Yeah, we've already decided that my next jersey is going to be judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah.
Like it.
Judge Curie and executioner.
Yes,
you
sorry.
fool.
Ideal 40k commentary desk, and is it 2-man or 3-man?
It's 2.5. You
Two
should have
with the
two
table box.
commentators, and you should have a third that's intermittent to provide like
Table
a
boss.
deeper dive into what's actually happening on the table. I fully believe there should be kind of like a color commentator who knows the game and how it and the timing and everything that's happening. You need someone that's there for pacing purposes, and then you kind of need a third person that's there to maintain story and in-depth coverage, whether that's through interviews or just to cut to talk about like what's going on the rest of the floor, or to go really in depth on a play that has happened. The game is slow enough that if you have the right production team, they should be able to monitor the pacing of the game themselves and cut away when necessary. The one thing I really loved when I did both times I've done Capital City Bloodbath, having Rob the Honest Wargamer with me, is like he has perfected commentary pacing. He knows like barely anything about 40k, but he's so good at watching a game and the flow of a game that he knows like when to ask the right questions. He knows when to cut the camera, and he does all of it while he's talking. So every time I've commentated with him, I've loved it for that reason, and I feel like the audience has loved it too, and it keeps me on track because as a guy with ADHD that can get hyper focused on a topic, it's good to have somebody there to push me off and get me to look at something else for a minute. It's one of the things I love and hate when I commentate with Adam Camilleri, because he and I are very much the same person in so many ways. So we both get hyper focused on things, and one of us has to take over the pacing role. And we're both very fast talkers. So like when we do LVO, there's often a lot of talk between the two of us between takes on what we need to cover. But yeah, the 2.5 is like my favorite.
I'm going to put 2 on this one. My favorite idea is you, Adam Camilleri, Tom Layton, and Nick Nanavati all on the desk with Tom doing table bossing, because the sheer amount of fast talk hell would be incredible to watch.
Oh, it would be awful.
It would be terrible, but I would be so there for the energy. So basically what you're saying is you want hype person on the desk, autistic person running tables, and a guy who has social skills.
Yeah.
Cool.
Perfect.
So we're missing like the third one most of the time, but we'll get there. It'll be fine.
It's
No,
possible.
I broadly really enjoy a lot of the 4K commentary that comes out when it's for good players. That's the most painful thing. The commentary, like as long as the commentators are barely are capable, if the players are playing a competent game and not making tons of mistakes, the commentary will be fine. Don't worry
Yep.
about it.
Yeah,
But watching games can be so difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
And I believe the VODs for the last Capital City Bloodbath are on TS Network or something like that.
I think so. It
Yeah,
was
Sports Network.
both
Esports
times I've
Network.
done Capital City Bloodbath have been times where, like, generally when I commentate at the end of a day, because of like how I am mentally, I'll be very down on myself and I'll go over like every mistake I've made. But particularly this year at Capital City Bloodbath, but even the first year, I didn't feel that way at all. Like I felt like we nailed the commentary, particularly on the final day. But even day one this year, I felt really good with it. We got a lot of compliments, and that's normally something I hate. But the feedback was so good that I was really into it. I really enjoyed it. And plus, Rob's setup is perfect. Oftentimes when you watch commentary from different groups, they don't trust the commentators enough to give them control, or they dumb things down just a little too much.
Doing commentary for LGT 2021 with the Honest Wargamers like setup with like the Telstrator and stuff like that is some of the best 4K coverage I've ever had the pleasure of being part of.
It was perfect.
those guys
I
have
love
done
his
such a
setup,
good job.
and I wish that more people could take that on. So,
Or just hire Rob, guys. Just hire Rob for your events.
or just hire Rob. Yeah, I love the man.
Rob does a
And
great
follow
job.
through.
Okay, next up, Peter, goals and ambitions for 2023, and there's a follow up to this.
So my big goal for 2023, my two goals were get to do LVO again. So that's happening. Last year's LVO was like a dream of mine to do, but because of stuff I was going through at the time, it wasn't a dream. So this time I'm really hoping I can actually like enjoy my time and get through it. The other goal is to make Falcon happen. And I'm really close. I'm really just making sure that I can nail down terrain before I really start pushing it, because I don't want to have like an old
Firefest.
Yeah, I don't want to have a Firefest. So like I've been pricing terrain. I've already got a venue. I'm just want to make sure like I've got it nailed down before I say
And
come
we
to
will
this
plug
thing
the
at this
shit out
day.
of Falcon when it happens, obviously. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'll be there.
I'm having meetings every couple of weeks. So right after Christmas, I'll have another one where I'll hopefully nail down the last of it. And yeah, Falcon, a Goonhammer joint, I'm hoping to happen in June.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Okay. And then the follow up to that is, why is Die Hard the best Christmas movie? Which I don't
It isn't.
understand how it's
Die Hard
related.
is not a Christmas movie. It happens at Christmas, and that's the only thing. The redemption
then
arc in Die Hard's terrible.
Brendan asks, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Which I feel like you've answered, but I also feel like us acknowledging it gives him an extra question. That means that we can definitely ignore one of his next ones. What's the best way to organize updates for the players to use well? I'm broadly fine with the way they do it now. Like on the website and the community article seems fairly reasonable.
Having a change log on those
Changelog would be
big ones would be great. Like just added this line on page 3.
remove
As
this
opposed to
section would
highlighting
be
it.
Great.
Yeah. Whenever sections disappear from FAQs, it's like,
I'm like, I need to scroll back through my backlog to find which string of letters this one was so I can run a text
Where-
comparison on it.
Where did that go as my least favorite game with the FAQs?
Yeah, at least WTC score them out.
Yes. But yeah,
Okay.
I think that they do a fine job right now.
Favorite Xmas song?
Oh, we were done with them.
I don't care. I like this question.
Favorite
I
Christmas
make the
song?
rules. Favorite Xmas song?
It used to be Fairy Tale in New York City. It's probably White Christmas now.
'Tis the Damn Season by Taylor Swift. Absolutely.
I think Hollywood Undead. Christmas in Hollywood
Christmas
by Hollywood
Hollywood is
Undead.
also a banger.
Yes. That's it. Cool.
Least favorite Xmas song? I hate
Most
Band-Aid.
of them.
I hate
Any of the ones
Band-Aid
that
so
play in
much.
grocery stores, because I worked retail for long enough to hate that shit.
Yeah.
I hate the Band-Aid one. Do they know? I hate it so much.
Oh, that's so bad.
It's so Eurocentric. It drives me insane, and it also sounds like shit.
I don't even know what song that is.
It's the "Do They Know It's Christmas Time at All" one, where it's like "Feed the
that's
World" and shit
terrible.
like that. It's so
Yeah, it's
bad.
awful.
It's like a massive thing in the UK. It's a terrible song, and it's also like, "Do they know it's Christmas time?" Dude, motherfucker, they're in like the rest of the world. Not everywhere celebrates Christmas, dude. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I hate it so
it's
much.
bad.
It's the worst.
That and the Mariah Carey one.
Yes, Mariah Carey is also.
I think that was just universally hated.
It has to be.
But it's so popular. I don't understand. Popular things can be bad. It's
like Nickelback.
Nickelback's having a resurgence.
I've looked back around on Nickelback a little bit. I don't know. Let people enjoy things on that front.
Isn't it?
No, I don't think so. TikTok mostly.
I'm very happy that I got a pair of Preaches for the Christmas in Hollywood, or the retail thing. I'm not sure which one that was.
Both probably.
Yeah.
Ines, question from last week. What do you think of GW/Play at the Mythicos? Holy shit, it's so bad. How do you play on that terrain? I do not understand how you could be like, this is good terrain and we should keep playing this.
You just put more melee in your list, dude. It's easy.
Dude, I played fucking Kraken. Like, what more melee do you want from me? I had 36 strength 5 AP 2 shots a turn. That was it.
There's too many, it turned out.
You could replicate that with a solid squad of intercessors. It's so bad. I don't understand. We sat down. We deployed the objectives for secure mission artifacts. You couldn't move an objective so that it wasn't completely hidden on terrain. Anywhere there was no point. Why? Why does this mission exist in this? I don't get it. I don't understand. Why is the dents irrelevant? Why did the middle ruins? I don't know how representative the middle ruins were from that one, but why are the middle ruins?
You did just keep getting the middle ruins wrong.
Wrong, but also the terrain. The terrain was not consistent across the event.
So, wrong, but inconsequential, anyways.
I hate it so much. It was so bad. Your deployment zone is like unassailable, and then the midboard is death. I do not like it. I would like midboard terrain. Midboard terrain is good. More small pieces of terrain is better because it becomes less fragmented and less easy for people to just walk onto and see all of it for free. I hate it. I hate all of it. It's so stupid. You could deploy with a fucking blind screen in the middle of the board, and you could basically 95% chance your opponent's deployed exactly how you think they are, and like 5% they're on the line. That's it. Those are the only two choices.
That's also just 40k right now. It's entirely inconsequential how you deploy in UKTC as well.
Yeah, I know. But UKTC
let him have his delusion.
UKTC is also not a good terrain set. Like, that's not
the only terrain set I've still seen that I care about at all that I will actively defend is the WTC one.
Yeah, WTC is good for team play specifically. For singles play, you need to be careful with which maps you use.
Well, yeah, you'd have to pick the right maps, and I don't know.
You have to use like a subset of them. I could probably go into it, but it varies by mission as well. So like,
yeah,
player placed is bad, and you should feel bad for liking it.
Player placed is bad.
I wish terrain mattered less in 40k. That's ultimately why I want lethality to go down, is so that terrain can matter less, so we can go back to playing on random garbage and it being mostly okay.
No, raise the standards that are required of your organizers.
We could do both. We could lower the burden on tournament organizers by lowering the lethality of the game to a point where less terrain is necessary, and also up the standard of that lowered barrier.
Reduce your expectations.
I like Innes's answer a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for making me feel sane.
Like, as someone that's about to buy like 90 tables worth of terrain, I really like your answer a lot.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
It
so
would be
hard
nice.
to set up and run events now.
Yeah,
Yep.
because
Like
you will
that's
be
the
judged
only
on
advantage I
having
can
bad
possibly
tables.
give you for GW terrain being even slightly passable is that at least it's just like 6 ruins and some woods. Like
It's
you
so
can,
easy to get.
it's
Go
so
on.
easy. Like it's fucking garbage, but it's barely playable garbage. And I will give it that it is I would describe it as the minimum viable playable terrain setup. Like
Yeah.
they scraped the fucking barrel. You could make it so much better with like 3 tweaks and an extra ruin. But whatever.
I
Santa
won't
is
play on it
upset.
again.
Santa's
It is
upset.
still just barely better than the front line
Barely
setup before.
minimum viable. Yeah, player placed is not a viable product. That's it's not. It's just not. Please stop trying to pretend it is. What kind of coverage from WTC would you guys like to see? For example, more interviews with teams and players, and storytelling behind each of them, or rather focus on singular games?
I think the team narrative is important, so I think I would rather see that.
More coverage like Enter the Matrix. But
I
from
think
a player
Typhus
and
is
coach
specifically
perspective.
talking about at-event coverage.
Yeah, at the event.
But I mean like that, like the take half an hour in between rounds, or not say in between rounds, but at the end of the day, and sit down and do a long form interview with.
I'm going to be honest. That's not going to happen.
I know
because
it's not
the
going
amount
to
that
happen.
you're not
We
going
got
to get.
drinking to do.
I know. I was there this year.
And,
I
like,
know. I
team
know
prep.
that there is no time, but this is me in a ideal. I would love to see this.
Yeah.
So what I would love, and this goes back to my favorite episode of 40K Stat Center we ever did, which was the 2019 WTC coverage we ran. Your team hype should be before the event and after the event. So team focus, who's going to be there, what's the story, why should I care about these countries? During the event, you need to keep focusing on that narrative that you've started. So, like, pick your 4 to 6 teams that you are the teams you want to watch as the event starts.
Make sure one of them is
interviews with
bad.
them.
You want to some coverage on the bottom tables as well. Pick a bad team that's interesting and cover.
Yeah,
them.
but that comes during the event, because the concept here is you go in, you pick 4 to 6 teams. Usually you pick your 4 teams that you want to win. And then your 1 or 2 underdogs or ones you want to focus on from a perspective of they're new or whatever the interesting story is. And then when you're at the event, you want to make sure you're constantly going back and covering those teams, even if they're not the most exciting game. In terms of team coverage, the best team coverage I've seen so far, Pro Tabletop did ATC once one year. And it wasn't the best, but it was better than we've ever had. They ran 4 tables, I believe, simultaneously, and they could cut between them rather quickly. I think that was probably unnecessary, but if you did 2 tables at a time or 3 tables, and then had a roving reporter covering the rest, that would be ideal. And then focus, and then as like the event goes, like pick a matchup and a secondary matchup, and that's it. And then your post coverage is going to be telling the full tale of the event, because nobody paid attention anyway. And that's going to be your big views, is like what actually happened. Make sure you're getting it, like interviews with the team captains. Those guys, they put so much effort into the thing, but they're also the ones that like push their teams so hard and want to have that kind of coverage. So they'll be willing to do it in a second, and you'll get great sound bites, and it'll be amazing.
My favorite piece of like actual WC coverage was Tom Layton's Twitter for 2018, where he just like live reported what was happening. Belgium have won the round against blah blah. This is why that's important. They moved to X and O. Belgium are like, you know, America are up 75-45 against blah. We need to see these games come in. I think this is an unfavorable like report on the ground is that this is going well and this is going well. We'll see it as it comes in. That kind of like live ticker reporting is really cool and lets people just kind of like tune into a Twitter feed or a web page. We could probably set that up for StatCheck.
That's your runner.
StatCheck live reporter. I just have a runner going and just have people like reporting like back on what's going, just like people at home, because you don't have to be at the event to do this. Just refresh BCP every 20 minutes. And we could have people like, I think that's something that we could definitely look at, and that'd be really, I would love to see something like that. It's probably something WC should be providing, to be honest. It's just like, what's going on at the event? This is the news.
I mean, we could work with WTC to make that a thing.
Exactly. We can, that's a thing to talk about in like May. We'll figure that out. But talk about the event. What's hype? What's happened today? Why is today cool? Have a summary article that goes up and be like, yo, this was really cool. I'm pretty sure it's Bridge, right? This is a slight tangent, but it's kind of related. There's a Bridge World Championship where they play like 40 games of Bridge in a day with like groups. And at the end of the day, they send out a newsletter to everybody with, this is what happened. This was a cool play. This was a unique situation that came up in this game. And this is why this is really interesting. And this is how we would have played it. And we asked an analyst to weigh in on this and this and this. And they do like a bunch of that. And it's like a 40-page newsletter for each of the days of like this 3-day Bridge Championship. And it's just like, man, you don't have to go that far, but a news blast that goes out on the WC webpage and be like, these were the big upsets of the day. We grabbed a couple pictures from in the snap of the stream game. Would you have done? This is a situation where they went for. What would you have done in this situation? And just get people involved and engaged with it. Like, it doesn't seem that hard.
Make people feel like they're there and like they're part of the action.
And so people care about their goddamn country.
Yeah,
True.
Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but this World Cup thing just happened. Like 4 billion people watched it because it's a game everybody plays and about countries. I don't know. Buenos Aires was like bank holiday today. We won a game championship. Like we can tap into a bit of that with the national pride thing. People care when it's America. People care when it's England and Germany.
Yeah, we had someone for Team Canada doing a fair amount of social media work leading up to the WTC and a little bit during
Chris
it.
did the social work.
No, it was Max.
No, social care.
Oh, yeah, sure. I think Sam was doing that more. But yeah, like, and the response that we got was there was a lot of engagement. There's a lot of people interested in following along. So like doing those blurbs and those blasts to keep people engaged and following along at home is huge.
Yeah, and in a way that's accessible and everybody can see. Like, that should be a thing that gets cross-posted to Reddit and every Facebook page and is getting on Twitter and podcasts. And, like, it should be a thing people care about, right? It's the World Championships of the game we all love and play. Like, there should be a path. Everybody should have a path to seeing where they could be at WTC or how they can care about it. And I think a lot of teams are doing a much better job of making that more open and accessible. WTC are doing a bit of work on that themselves. WT is already so goddamn cool, and it could be so much cooler that I really want to see that happen. Like within my tenure as part of it, from the vaguely important side.
Yeah. All stuff that could happen.
If CSM was disallowed at WTC due to release date, why is WTC hot on using potentially bug-ridden brand new edition in 2023? Because nobody will give a shit if we're playing 9th edition after 10th is out.
Exactly.
Especially if it's been out for 2 months.
Yeah, like one codex, fine, it matters for a few players and it will affect the meta of the event, but it is just the meta of the event. It is not, we are now playing 10th edition. WTC players are now incentivized to ignore 10th edition for as long as possible so they don't get rules mixed up in their head and start playing new things and they can focus. And instead, you're saying to them, all you guys who are incredibly invested in 40K and are like figureheads of your scene and running tournaments and going to tournaments, ignore that for 2 months. Go play the old stuff.
How close it is.
I know, and I get that, but nobody's going to give a shit if we're playing 9th edition after it's been out for 2 months.
If it's 2 months, sure. If it's 1, it's different.
I get that, but
I don't even think one's
no
different.
No one will give a shit if it's a month out either.
It's like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
the
like
community moves fast. So
this is a big bias, but I'm definitely less concerned about the thoughts of the spectator when it comes to
I'm talking about the players at the event too.
Oh,
yeah.
See, like
you're going to care less.
I guess. I don't know.
And the teams voted overwhelmingly in favor of playing 10th.
Oh yeah, we're playing 10th. Like if it's there, that's
you're
happening.
You're going to be like, why am I'm playing a dead game? I don't care. This is like nothing to me anymore. Like all your prep work feels like it's wasted because you're doing it for something. Like I get it. It sucks. Now. There's always going to be both sides of the argument, but overwhelmingly, it sucks ass playing a dead game.
Yeah, luckily, it's a team format, so the chances are, if GW fucks up, only a little bit, which is what they tend to do, there's just going to be one broken list you have to
As
worry
long as
about.
we don't see index 8th again.
I was
No.
gonna say this depends a lot on what the move to 10th looks like.
It sure
right?
does.
Like,
That is absolutely true. But like, do you remember how when we had like a balanced data slate one week and we just went, yeah, we're just not covering anything from last week because it doesn't matter anymore?
It's
yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah,
Different
that
scale,
on
but the
a-
same thing.
on a much bigger scale.
Well, no, that's like way different, right? Because we're talking about like tiny little regional GTs with people from the
I get
Midwest
that.
clobbering
I
weekend
get
dads,
that,
not
but
the
it's
end
not-
of a season.
It's the same concept. Like, it's a different scale, sure, but it is the same concept. Anyway, have you guys played much Crusade this session? No.
No.
Played 2 campaigns, 3 campaigns now, but nothing that I would want to see brought over to mainstream. Crusade is
There's some
fun
cool
with
relics, I
friends,
think.
and that's about it.
If
Because
I wanted
it
to do that,
breaks
I'd keep it
real
in.
fast if you try to metagame it.
It
Yeah.
seems like adding more paperwork to 40k is not what 40k needs.
Yep.
Hey, Violence, any chance you were able to pose still for a few seconds and try to look like you're shooting lasers out of your eyes?
I'm sure there's plenty of on-camera hours of me
Anthony, do it.
angrily staring
Anthony,
at the
now
What?
stare at Falcon.
But no, take your hand off your fucking face, idiot. There we go.
Now try to look like Godzilla.
What? I don't
There you go.
There you go.
There you
That'll
go.
do.
Oh, you had it
You
for a
got
second.
it.
Stop moving your mouth so much. Jesus fuck.
I'm confused and scared. Stop making me pose for shit.
I keep seeing people lumping GSC with AdMech and Marines as needing major buffs. Would you all agree with that? Yes, but
No.
only for the combat stuff. Because the
Yeah,
shooting stuff is fine, but all the combat stuff sucks so much dick.
It does big damage. It just doesn't deliver reliably.
Yeah, it can't get there, and honestly, it doesn't do that much damage anymore, man. Like, drills is like the only thing and it's like the swingiest damage you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, it doesn't do that much damage except for the shit that does fuck tons of damage. That's fair, I guess.
It's spiky as all hell.
It's spiky
Yeah.
as all hell, and it's very inconsistent.
It's just a poorly internally balanced codex is really all
Yeah,
it is.
and I mean that's kind of the same issue with AdMech and Marines are just a mess because of how many data sheets they have. But AdMech is absolute garbage internal balance. The cult mechanic.
AdMech's
is
got
just-
great internal balance as long as you pretend it's Codex Qatari.
Yeah,
they should
sure.
They should nerf AdMech again.
Stop that.
What is your favorite 40k memory, Peter? This is getting real into the territory of when I eventually ask you to come on my interview show, but whatever.
My favorite 40k memory.
Is it the Gargan?
Fuck that Gargant. I mean, that's a funny story, but my favorite 40k memory is probably when I was at BAO commentating my shitty version of commentary back then, when Jeff Robinson won versus Jim Vessel. That was an amazing game to watch in person for a lot of reasons. Like, it was Jim at the top of his game, playing the best army in the game. That really, if you looked at the stats, only he was playing that well. Like, there were people playing like TJ had his own variation on the list that was doing better, but like Jim's because Jim didn't use Blight Lords. Like, watching that game and how that played out of these two guys who at the time I had great respect for both of them, and like the twists and turns of it, and like Jeff winning this event that he'd wanted to win for so many years, particularly in retrospect when he passed away a couple months later. Like, that was big for me to be part of that. That's probably my favorite 40k memory. The Gargant is like a close 800th because of how shitty that was, and fuck that guy.
That's fine. We'll get that story out of you on In This and Out sometime. I think I'll
Okay.
try and do that.
Don't pitch owning a Titan when it's made of cardboard, people. Don't do it.
What do you all want to see for terrain in 10th? Less of it, but more rule book better of it.
Just
Yeah.
something unified. I don't really care what standard we go to as long as it's widely adopted.
I want
I don't
codex terrain. Everybody, codex specific terrain. Do it.
Should
used to
relics
have it.
cost
Bring it
points
back.
instead of CP? Probably, yeah.
I'd be down for a return to that. We're seeing a lot of that with the like chapter master and
Yeah.
Arcana and all those upgrades being points. Just point them, because a 1 CP relic pistol is not worth the same as a 1 CP.
Relic of Reaper of Blitterax.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was really hoping we would get cool like point upgrades things in CSM, and instead we got marks costing points, and I was like, you bastards!
You know what I always really despise is how the game in some ways pretends that Imperial Knight relics and warlord traits are worth the same as everybody else's.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, man, relic guns are really terrible until it's an Avenger Gatling cannon. And it's like a little different.
That thing
It's
sucks.
12 more shots.
Yeah, man, Call's Wrath and Pietrov's MK45 are about as good. 1 CP.
Yeah, they're equivalent.
Yeah.
Paul, I'm not answering the Legion question. This is not a Legion podcast. If you want to see Legion check, you should increase your Patreon bid and come host it with me. Dick would like to know if he wants to bring 180 racks or Necron good stuff to Dutch finals next month.
Racks.
Annihilation
Racks.
Legion. Annihilation Legion.
Don't do that.
Annihilation. Yeah, you should play
Racks.
racks. You should play racks.
No, don't do the racks. Your back will hate you for it.
Dick
No.
is very fast in Warhammer. He'll be
He's
fine.
also very
Dick-
sturdy.
Dick is a sturdy man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dick can handle it.
Dick can handle it. Plus, I think he owns a shuffleboard pushy thing. That's all you need for
Oh,
that.
okay,
many
then he's
racks.
good then.
Plus, he's probably seen Justin play it a few times, and like it
Yeah.
can't be that hard if Justin can
I
play
mean,
it.
he's watched
so-
Manny play it, and I mean, somehow he always gets in under time. So
You should play 175 is specifically what you should play, though, not 180. Because then you could fit Scottish Scourges and you could actually score secondaries, which I use.
Secondaries are useful, yeah.
Yeah, I
You
hear
can score
that. Quite good.
secondaries with the other one. Also, remember that rack reroll wounds is 2 CP, not 1 when you use
What?
the unit.
That
man,
doesn't
I
sound
watched some
right.
people play that wrong. Then
Yeah, once or twice.
Okay, I think there were some questions in chat, but I'm gonna broadly just pretend there weren't.
Right, you have 5 minutes. Go.
Fuck off.
Uh,
I'm scrolling back.
All right, so the photo where we have Anthony with all of the turbo is going to be a very pink dress.
yes,
Yeah, that sounds good. We can probably bribe him to do that. The
Anthony,
trick to
Elsa,
doing well with
Jean,
CRS is
Vanilla.
to play Tau. Yeah, probably.
What'd you say, Peter?
as your new nickname, Elsa Jean.
I don't understand.
Okay,
the
Ennis.
reference. That's
You're
fine.
not old enough.
No, clearly not. Have we heard the Germans are sending some to LVO? Yeah, but
He's not a good player.
Who's coming to LVO from the Germans?
I'm gonna guess it's Fred, but probably
probably
Fred
Sebastian.
and somebody else. Sebastian, yeah.
Godspeed.
Nobody
Those
who
people.
matters, basically.
Fred's dope. Don't be
Fred's
mistaken.
dope. Fred's lovely. Fred's wonderful.
amazing.
Fred's really good at Warhammer. I'm still betting on some random Italian. Like LVO is a meta that favors Italians.
It depends if they're allowed to toss models at LVO.
That's what I just
Ooh.
said. LVO is a meta that favors Italians.
Yeah.
No hate to the Italian community. I love all of you, or probably I don't think I've ever interacted with any of you.
Just
So
not that
it
one guy.
does not count.
That one guy.
Yeah, fuck that one guy whose name I didn't even bother memorizing.
And all you people that aren't patrons yet, fuck you too.
Yeah, exactly. Ash Loftus, a wonderful human being, says, if you had to anyone with a single plastic model, 40k model, what would it be for maximum damage? I feel like you're asking this with intent, buddy.
A plastic one?
Yeah.
Probably-
Stormraven? Stormraven.
No, probably one of the Night Desecrators or...
Yeah,
A
they got a
fully
lot of
assembled land fort would not tickle.
Yeah, but you got to think of all the spiky bits that embed themselves.
Yeah, I'm thinking about just like impact.
Land forts are
Harpy?
not that...
I think you're overestimating the amount that the impact of like the spiky parts will hold up. Like the
I've definitely got some cuts on my arms from like scraping terrain and stuff like that. Fortress of Redemption.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah, that's gonna fuck somebody's day up real bad.
yeah, that's gonna suck.
That's gonna fuck up somebody's day real bad. That's a Nick Rose moment.
There's a name I haven't heard in a hot minute.
Yeah.
Peter, where's our land train?
That's what the Hecaton siege fortress was.
I feel like I'm gonna, if I ever get them, I'm gonna convert them to be more
You have
trainy.
to put them together to make.
I'm gonna put them on rails, you know.
Wait for the jump back guys. That may or may not have been.
Pick one. No bodyguard flowers or -1 stat to everything in the book. I'll take no bodyguard flowers. That's fine. I can live with that. If those are the choices. -1 stat to everything in the book seems really bad.
I'm sure you'd love T2 gargoyles.
Man, gargoyle toughness is not their break point.
11 inch move might be.
The painful 8 points.
I'm not seeing anything else.
No. Right, let's briefly discuss next week. We are not doing a real show next week. Not that we super did a real show this week, but next week we're going to just be coming on and shooting the breeze a little bit rather than
Drinking.
anything specifically for it. We'll probably have a drink. So you are all more than welcome to join us, but do not expect a regularly scheduled episode next week. Nathan will continue to not be with us. I believe he is still in France.
No, Nathan will be back next week as well.
Oh, is Nathan back next week? Cool.
Son of a
Nathan-
bitch.
If he's not, he's not.
Son of a bitch.
So new Peter will be back next week. I think I'm speaking on his behalf. I'm sure he'll be fine.
We'll find out next Tuesday at
So
6
we will.
p.m.
We will probably. It will probably still be 40K related. Because we're we've got nothing else in common, guys. Sorry, but
It's true.
but yeah. So we will be here next week. Peter did all the pluggy things for us earlier, so go and listen to Peter's dire warnings of foresight, because otherwise bad things can and will happen to you.
Yeah. Don't let it happen to you. You don't want to be the one.
Like, comment, subscribe on everything. Sign up for the Patreon or get fucked. Like,
if you want to find Peter other places, you can. Sorry.
nope. Can't
Check
find me.
out Peter's legacy at 40kstats.goonhammer.com, I guess.
I mean, you can also just go to 40kstats.com. And
Does that still work? Cool.
I do articles for them. And I will be bringing back the adjacent show tomorrow.
Oh,
Hell
shit.
yeah.
So that'll be fun.
So if you want to find more Peter, you can find him on the adjacent show, which is as far away from 40K as you could get while still having a toe in the water.
Well, I have to try. Like, Rob tries real hard to make me talk about 40K, and I hate it. So.
Peter, it has been an absolute pleasure having you. Thank you, Anthony and Jeremy, for stepping in on. I suppose it's not short notice. You knew it's your show too, but thank you, Jeremy, for stepping in with us. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you to all of the wonderful podcasts who are here with us today for sitting in our chat. That's 40K Fireside, 40K Down Under, Art of War, other ones, Frontline Gaming, some things with Seth,
Some show named Frontiers.
Some show named Frontiers. I don't think that's real. He slagged off Team Scotland while being on Team New Zealand. Like, that doesn't seem right.
New Zealand isn't real anyway.
Exactly. It's not on any of the maps. How could it possibly be real?
It's true.
Except for Steve Joel.
Except for Steve Joel, who I am actually getting interviewed by tomorrow, which is going to be great. So that's it's going to be good fun. Thank you so much, everybody, for being with us for this slightly less orthodox episode. We're going to end the show because Anthony's threatening me with the finger. Have a great Christmas, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.